Jason, how you doing?
I'm really good, thank you, Freda. Please excuse my attire. I've just finished my first box league tennis match, which I won, and I'm ecstatically over the moon about that.
Tennis fan, good
Yes,
man.
yes. A late bloomer. I did a film in during COVID. Bulgaria, strangely, had no COVID apparently, so we all went there to film, and I did 19 nights in a row on a night shoot. And because I've got kids, I woke up in the morning. I was like, what am I going to do all day? And I looked out the window, and there was a tennis club, and I went, that's it. And I did 19 lessons in 21 days, and I'm addicted.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I guess we ought to talk about the film, though.
Go on, do it.
All right, then. Well, congratulations on the film. Your career, I've got to say, is just so varied. I mean, we tend to associate you with British gangster flicks, but you've played the likes of Joe Gardry in Great Expectations. You were Stephen Graham's business partner in Boiling Point. You even sang and danced a bit in Sunshine on Leith, didn't you?
I did. I think it's because I'm cheap and easy to be around. So they kind of, and I'm not being rude, but it's a fine place to be, and I'm not at all ashamed of it. But I think what happens is they phone me up and they go, especially the Yanks, they phone up and they go, hey, Jay, man, we're really excited to work with you. You know, we've been big fans a long time. I go, when does it start? And they go, tomorrow. So I think what happens is I'm the sort of guy you go to when someone pulls out, and they know they're in safe hands.
Do you reckon? Because I was actually wondering what makes a part sort of leap off the page at you when you sent the script.
The real truth is that you very rarely have a choice. You very rarely have two films, one in left hand, one in right hand. And for me, my dad was a director, and he always used to say, go to your back pocket, and if you've got your fuck off money, tell them to fuck off. And if you haven't, say it's the best script you've ever read. And that's how I've tended to live my life. It's just and before the kids, mostly it was geographic. So I'm obsessed with travel. So before I had the twins, I'd read if they said it's in Jordan or Sri Lanka or Bulgaria, wherever, I tend to choose geographically because it's not an exact science. So the film can end up terrible, but if you've had an amazing experience in an amazing city or country you've never been to, then it's worthwhile.
Yeah. So dare I ask how much money you had in your pocket when you were approached about A Working Man?
I turned around to him and said, it's the greatest script I've ever read. No, the truth.
What do you feel of it, though?
I mean, the truth is, obviously, Jason's my great friend. I'm proud of our friendship, which has gone over decades, and I'm super proud of what he's achieved. And rarely do we get the chance. We see each other maybe twice a month, but because he works all the time, the best place to be with him and to be able to spend all day with him is to take a job on one of his films. So. And he's not very nomadic. He's like me. He likes to work with the same people. So his team is very much his team. There's probably about 8 of them. So when you spend time on sets with Jay, obviously I get treated the same as Jay does. So I get treated amazingly, and I have my own personal chef and and all that stuff which goes with Jace.
Nice.
And we just have a lovely time, and he giggles like an idiot, and then we go home with some money in our pocket. It's lovely.
But this time, of course, you're playing a Russian gangster as a change from a British gangster, which is...
Well, yeah, I mean, me and Jay did it in Transporter 2. I was the Russian gangster chasing him around, so we've done it before, just in a different city. But yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved the Russian thing. You know what? Because I'm so spoiled and I get to work a lot, I like when there's something, whether like in Boiling Point, which was in one take, or speaking Russian, or whatever it is that adds an extra dimension to acting is always exciting for me now.
Yeah. Are you ever afraid of being typecast as a gangster? Or is that the reason for all your different roles, or part of the reason?
I try, like you say, and without being too self-effacing, because I'm always horrible, always a killer. I mean, Trigger Point at the moment, I'm like, are you serious? I kill 100 people again. But anyway, so I try and do a Joe Gardry every now and again, or mate, I'd love to do Benjamin Button every month, but that doesn't happen, But to do every now and again, to do a kind or a period character or something like that is always good, because much as I like you know, to pay the rent. If you keep doing the same thing, it becomes difficult to escape that, you know, like you said.
Yeah.
I think I've managed. I think I've just about managed.
Yeah. So A Working Man includes what I call the Battle of the Jasons.
Yes, it does.
Exactly how precarious did it feel being balanced on that chair at the edge of the swimming pool?
It's very funny because Jay, I do cold water swimming, right? So I've swum a lot, and Jay obviously was an Olympic swimmer, a British Commonwealth diver. So they had this stuntman who looked vaguely like me, with vaguely red hair, and like it wasn't very good, just because of time and stuff, not because they didn't have the, you know, he wasn't a talented stuntman. But Jay was like, no, don't worry about it. Flemyng will be fine. He loves the water. And I was like, and they're like, Jay, are you okay with this? I was like, well, yeah, he's fine. Stop making a fuss. And that's how it kind of went. And when I dropped in to the water, obviously I'm tied to that chair, right? And there's a weight because when you wear a wetsuit and you just float. So I was properly weighted and I went down and I was tied to that chair. And in the corner of the pool, there were divers, right? And I was like, before we do this, what's the signal for when it goes wrong? And they went, well, just stay still. And I went, but the action is me panicking, right? So if I panic, I'm going to panic and you're going to go, Jason's doing it really well. I said, I'm not sure if this is a good idea. So that was what happened. But I bet we were fine in the end. But the idea that the sort of like safe word was to go still was really quite scary.
Yeah, just a bit. I mean, as you've said, it's not the first time that you and Jason Statham have worked together. What's it like working together? It sounds like you have huge fun. Quite apart from the chef and all the rest of it.
It's, you know what, it's amazing. And for Jay, like I said before, for Jay, I think it's really lovely because obviously he's a massive film star. He makes, you know, 50 million a year making movies. And so people who've just met him meet a different Jason that I know. You know, I know Jason who used to drive a white van, whose girlfriend set me up with my wife, and who, you know, I've had a laugh with over 3 decades, you know, and now when we get on set, it's just the same as being on Lock Stock. We just take the piss out of each other. I sort of go to Jay, I go, is that it, Jay? Is that what you're going to do, is it? And he's like, fuck off. What are you talking about? Leave me alone. And we just have a giggle, you know. It's really nice. It's lovely. It's really magical to be working with Jay after, you know, 30 years. It's great.
And you mentioned earlier about Benjamin Button, and of course you have done some films that will be regarded as Hollywood, but I think we also associate you mainly with British films. What does the British film industry mean to you, and indeed the independent side of it?
I mean, everything really. Like you said, I'm very lucky to have such a diverse career, but the great thing is to, you know, those big movies, like when you're a kid and you see like X-Men First Class or even Benjamin Button, which was a joy, but let's use X-Men First Class as a kind of studio movie, a template for that. The money that's involved, the fear that's involved, you know, you're talking, you know, $280 million. And with that comes 1,000 people making 1,000 decisions, and the politics of whom, you know, it's really, really complicated. Obviously, everyone gets well paid. Obviously, you know, it's great to make those big action flicks. But when you go off and do Boiling Point, and it's just you, the director, and a group of actors, a great cameraman, you know, a Cockney sound guy, and it's free, you know, it's literally like how you'd imagine making films. You know, that's exactly how it is. It's completely inclusive, and if it's a good idea, it's in. The politics and the ego of filmmaking is taken away with the money, you know. So unfortunately, you only make a couple of quid, and it's cheese sandwiches and you know, and digestive biscuits. But the experience is amazing.
Jason, it's been great to talk to you. I wish we had more time, but you know how it goes.
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much for your time.
Listen, loads of love. And if you ever need anything, you know, well, you'll find me. I'll always remember you now with the red hair.
Yeah, and keep some money in your pocket.
I will, mate. I will.